Some encouraging housing news. Applications for new mortgage loans rose 1% last week as rates on those mortgages ticked lower for the fifth week in a row. A 30-year fixed-rate loan is now averaging 3.65%. Most of those new applications came from current homeowners refinancing existing loans, but at a cheaper rate.
While many of those current homeowners are staying right where they are and taking advantage of lower mortgage rates, many would-be home buyers are snapping up newly constructed houses almost as quickly as they're being built. And that's driven some home builders to do something we haven't seen since the housing bust, building houses first on spec and then trying to sell them. Diana Olick has more on this old-new trend.
Homebuilder Stephen Paul says he should have no problem selling this 5-bedroom home in a Tony suburb of Washington, D.C. He built it without a buyer, something he hasn't done much of in the past 8 years.
We've been monitoring the resale inventory of listings for the last 18 months, and we've watched that precipitously drop over that period of time, and we realized that there's going to be a demand for homes where people want immediate deliveries, and there are none on the market.
So-called spec building was more than just a 4-letter word during the housing crash. It was a risk few were willing to take. But the story now is no supply. Home listings in March were down 17% from a year ago, according to the realtors. And some of the big builders say they're actually holding back construction because they're facing land, labor, and material shortages, and because they want to keep prices strong. That has others thinking the time is now ripe for spec.
I think the biggest competitive advantage that builders have right now is that they have product. And with existing inventory so low, they need to take advantage of the fact that they actually have something to sell.
McGrath says big builders like Lennar and D.R. Horton have had the greatest success in spec recently because they know exactly where and what to build. Paul says he's targeting high-end, high-volume markets for most of his spec, doing mostly tear-down infill projects. That's where the risk could bring the greatest rewards.
So we've been monitoring other builders, and we've been noticing that they have had a reluctance to start building specs because of hesitation and concern about the market. But we see it as an opportunity.
He also says he's starting to see buyers who had damaged credit, even lost their homes to foreclosure 3 or 4 years ago, now back and able to buy again. That can only mean more demand amid this limited supply. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Diana Olick in Bethesda, Maryland.